Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Happy 10th day of Inkvent. We're in the double digits now. Now, unfortunately, I think this might have been spoiled for me. Last night I was looking for videos on YouTube about number 5 Schmidt Nibs, thinking of getting a Benu Minima Cult Pens exclusive with my upcoming birthday discount later this month. And like somewhere in the list of videos, oh, swatching day 10 of Diamine Inkvent. And like, wow, like this person didn't even bother putting this up on as her thumbnail. Was just, oh, here's the swatch she's doing. So I'm pretty sure if that was this year's day 10 Diamine Inkvent and she was a thoughtless, rude spoiler, not the same as the one who ruined it on Instagram, then I already pretty much have a good idea of what the color profile is. Like, spoiler alert, like just PSA, if you're going to do it like ahead of people in other time zones, at least have the courtesy to not put the color right in your freaking thumbnail. Like, make an effort to hide it so our fun isn't ruined. So anyway, let's just see if that color profile I saw was correct for day 10. Okay, this is called Nostalgia, and the ink I saw looked kind of like grayish, like a light black. Maybe it was a blue gray. So this definitely does not look anything like what the color I saw last night. This is more of like a lavendery purple, like a lilac, a purpley gray. And this is a chameleon ink. That's interesting. And the sparkles, the shimmers, dark pink is one of them. And the other looks kind of, like, I guess, bronzy, sort of like goldish. I can't wait to swatch it. See you guys on the other side of my desk. That's really an interesting color. It's looking more brownish. Maybe that actually was the swatch in the thumbnail I saw last night. It's just in my blind panic to get away, it looked kind of grayish, blacky to me, or maybe a little blue gray. But this looks brown, browny purple. I haven't really seen the shimmers breaking through too much, though, pinky undertone. Looks like it's going to be drying up to brown on the top. Very, very interesting. Can't wait to see how this actually writes in a nib and give it at least one more shake to lay down some more ink for the swatching and the miniature swatch up at the top of the notebook. Thankfully, that's the end of the bleed through from blush on, I believe it was day number 7. I say this so many times. One of the really irritating things about shimmer inks, despite how pretty they usually are, you just have to keep shaking and shaking and shaking over and over again if you want the actual, shimmers to show in what you're writing or swatching or painting with, because if not, they'll just, settle down to the bottom of it. It's kind of, maybe they're going for a sort of heathery look. It's kind of like a neutral tone, a more muted, dusky slash dusty purple. I'm more into the, the bright, vibrant purples like that. But, I still have, room to appreciate a nice so-called more mature and sophisticated purple that's somewhat more muted and neutral and earth tony. So I'm not really seeing the chameleon particles breaking through. Oh, now I do see it in the, hopefully I wasn't leaning my hair into that again. I need to learn to quit doing that. In the really inky, saturated part down at the bottom of the swatch, trying to avoid leaning into this and showing you guys my gray hairs up at the top. Yeah, I am seeing shimmers, and they do look like little bronzy particles peeking through, true to what I saw in the bottle. Can't wait to see, what exactly shakes out when I do it in the writing sample. Just write a little bit at the, not write, paint up a little bit at the top for the swatch. I think I should do another little shake through, so get more not sprinkles, sparkles in that, showcase it to its fullest extent. This, I want to pronounce it correctly with the stress on the right syllable. Nemosine. I mean, that's not really a name or a word most people say, but the stress falls in the O in the Greek word, but you know, in other languages, the name is Nemesini or Nemesina. So, you know, I want to instinctively pronounce it with the stress Nemesina instead of Nemosina. But, you know, that's actually pronounced in Greek. Yeah, this definitely doesn't really look so much like a Christmas slash like wintry or winter holiday type of ink. Not sure what kind of nostalgia exactly they're going for, unless they mean like sepia toned old films like that. That's but a lot of their inks do seem to be more, you know, like British references for the in crowd at home to get, not so much for like Americans or Canadians or other people doing the Inkvent calendar. So watch that dry up a little bit, and then I will dip to writing the name on the swatch card. As this is drying more, I'm seeing a very pronounced, definite pop of that really, really pretty admixture of like pinkish and bronzy glitter in the thickest part of the swatch. And maybe the theme they were going for with this particular name was like, oh, nostalgia, seeing the past through rose-colored glasses, that kind of thing. That's really fun and interesting. Hopefully, like, all this is in the frame. I'm constantly like checking and double and triple checking and like moving the zoom thing around and how far up the tripod is extended, because I just don't have the external monitor yet to like know exactly where everything is in the frame. I have to hold this down for writing it. Day 10. We're in double digits already. It's going to be like 15 days until we see what the biggie is behind door number 25. Although if it's anything like past Inkvent calendars, as I discovered last year and hearing from people who've done the previous ones, it pretty much always tends to be an ink matching the name of the color on the box. So surprise, surprise, it's probably definitely going to be a beautiful teal shade this year. Can't wait to see what other colors they come up with for Inkvent in future years they've not done already. Maybe like an orange Inkvent, the silver, gold, gray, what else? Peach, yellow. Although yellow it's a very persnickety color. Like many people don't really like it that much because like it's like make or break. Is it not eligible, legible? You know, just depending on the size of the nib and the kind of paper you're using and the exact shade of the yellow. What else haven't they done? They've had turquoise, although that's very similar to teal, brown, and that can be like a holiday kind of color depending on the type of brown. I know I've seen brown in previous Inkvents. Day 10. This seems to be not too bad for like still being wet. It seems to be drying up nicely. I'll hold it up to the light when you guys are up closer to it at the end. This is a really, really lovely shimmer. This seems so far to be a fairly wet ink. It's writing nicely. It doesn't really seem dry or under saturated. So maybe I will end up putting a little bit of this in a pen for a fuller writing sample, and not just to write on the notebook, but to write with my journal entry later today and maybe other stuff throughout the month as well. I'm really liking how this ink has shaped up, and that was a lesson to me last night. You're like, don't be on YouTube like when it might be the time zone for other people to already have opened it. You know, you can never predict how thoughtless and careless some people are going to be. Some people, they just don't create thumbnails for their videos. They just let YouTube auto-selected. And I did forget to write day 9 yesterday in the swatching page. I went back and retroactively added that a little bit, squeezed it in at the corner. I'm always forgetting to do something in these videos. It's just not yet a streamlined process. And I know it is, like I say this in every video, kind of like awkward and tricky to write with a glass dip pen, particularly when it's, you know, printing, and I like almost never like print by choice, and these letters are quite different, like much larger than I almost always do the relative few times I do print. Hopefully I was not leaning my hair into the frame by mistake. That is such an embarrassingly bad habit of mine. Nostalgia. Yeah, I just really don't like printing. It takes way longer than cursive because you have to separately form each letter. I mean, not that you don't separately form the letters with cursive, but you have to lift your hand up for each and every new letter you write instead of just like smoothly flowing, writing, you know, one word as one at a time. Chameleon, I think I'm going to have to hyphenate that one again, but no biggie. Chameleon. Don't forget to write this time day 10. Now, day 10. Day 10. And now I will do a brief writing sample for the rest of the page and get back to you guys. There is a completed writing sample. This might not necessarily be the kind of ink I personally would want a full bottle of. It is sort of on the lighter side for my own taste, but it's really lovely ink. It didn't seem to be particularly dry. I put a little bit in my favorite Benu Astro gem pen, the Juno. This is so pretty. I reserved this one for pink and purple inks. I love it so much. I thought it was a good fit for nostalgia. That dried up to a really, really, really beautiful shimmer. You can really appreciate all of the sparkles and the light, a really beautiful, like pinky and bronzy type of thing. And as well, it dried up in the little swatch I did up at the top. You can, when I tilt it, you can see it more obviously. And unfortunately, there was an unfortunate little ink splot that came out from the pen. That also has a lovely, beautiful like shimmer. You can't really see it like too much because it's so dark, but when I tilt it, I can definitely see it picking up in the light. And I pulled out a couple of swatch cards to compare it to. It looks a little bit like first up Private Reserve's Arabian Rose, but minus the shimmer. Obviously, it does have that same kind of like dusty, kind of like purpley pink color, as well as Jacques Herbin Poussière de Lune. I haven't put this in a pen yet, only done it for like, you know, short dip writing samples. It does, you know, kind of have a similar mood to it. And also like Blueberry Muffin from Monteverde's Sweet Life series. I could not resist those inks because like named after sweet stuff. Really a nice similar look. Not 100% similar, but definitely seems in the same general color family. From last year's Inkvent Potpourri. This is a little bit lighter than this one, and of course like no shimmer, but definitely seems like there's some similarities. And as well as this is in a past Inkvent. I'll put the text on the screen when I'm editing it later after my dental appointment, but Tranquility from a past Inkvent looks kind of similar, and it also has the sparkle. I don't have a full bottle of this or even the Inkvent. This was one of my free birthday samples last year from Goulet pens. So yeah, I think these are the best matches of what I presently have. So thanks very much for watching, and I will see you guys again tomorrow for lucky number 11, my favorite number, my lucky number. Bye.